In Linux SUSE, how you create another virtual machine. Again, the machine has been turned into a bridge mode, and now we are logging into root and creating completely from the scratch a virtual machine. We have already created 2 virtual machines on this, and by having it on the bridge, it will be directly on the network. It behaves like an actual computer. First of all, we are going to look for virtual machine, okay?
Manager.
And then you see there are 2 machines already created. Now we are going to create a 3rd machine. This is one of the machine. It's a Windows machine, and the other one, this is even logged in, and they are on our network. They behave and appear like actual computer, which we can control from this computer. So now let's create a
completely new,
for all the steps necessary to create a virtual machine. So we create a new virtual machine. It's going to be a local install media ISO. Okay.
I have copied the ISO from the Windows local, so we can use this. No? Browse. And
so we have an ISO version of the Windows copied to this machine. This is 4.77 gigabyte ISO, which is the installation, practical installation for Windows. And that practically, automatically.
Sometimes it doesn't work, so we choose the guest.
Say that is a Windows 10, going to be a Windows 10, okay.
But it's also not so important. It's only for the Vorschläge here.
So it chooses the suggestion for how your machine is going to be. So we are going to use like how much memory, how much CPU allocation for this virtual machine is going to be used. Okay.
Let me think. We have how many?
We have 16 gigabytes on this machine.
Okay. Then it's no problem, because it's important that we not make more memory usage than the whole.
No, for now you can as well do it like a 2 gigabyte if you want.
No, it's no problem. If we have section, we can do this because
I want to show. You see, I want to first show how to go from the scratch and do everything from like really install it. But then I want to make as well a video about how to take what you installed and copy it. And make it that these are 2 different paths, because once you install a virtual machine, that virtual machine is actually a file. You can actually copy that file and have all the setting of the first virtual machine for your second virtual machine. So here we are going to.
Also that's the disk of the virtual machine, and that's the file you mean. It's one file or more files. How many hard disks you want add to the virtual machine. And you can create it directly, or I normally said, okay, I want to create it manual, and say data 01. It's one of the bigger hard disks.
Hard drives.
And I say add, and we give them a name of the disk from this from this new virtual machine. So we give the name of the virtual machine remote from Linux 01, and that's the 3rd machine. So
we are just going to call this new virtual machine remote Linux 01, because that is the computer here, and then 03, okay, and then disk 1. And the QCOW2 is the format that it's going to use it for. Is practically this data is the whole computer.
Right. And the good on this format is it's a spare format. It only use this space who need it in this moment. That's I said
it's a changeable format.
Yes. I take here virtual.
So
size for Windows, and Windows sees, okay, that's 80
gigabyte, but it doesn't on the actual computer. It doesn't necessarily has to be 80. That could be 20 gigabyte in actual. Okay,
that's one of the Vorteile.
So you speak German, I speak in English.
Also das ist einer der Vorteile von dem. Das zweite, in diesem Format kann man Snapshots machen von der Maschine.
And you can take a snapshot of this in this format, you can take a snapshot and practically revert to previous versions. Okay. So I wasn't quite following the steps. So you choose to create a new machine, and then you chose the ISO. You created the space that you are going to create it.
Okay, wie sieht das? Ist nicht so schnell, die Platte gerade. Das hat man jetzt gerade gesehen, aber es geht das schneller. Aber man sieht, es hat jetzt keine 80 GB erzeugt. Ne?
Ja.
So, und jetzt sage ich einfach, diese Platte weise ich jetzt der neuen Maschine zu. Achtung, hier. Ich könnte auch das machen, aber hier steht auch schon benutzt bei einer anderen Maschine. Damit macht man es kaputt. Ne? Das darf man auf keinen Fall machen. So, choose volume. Und next. So, okay. Then here, the name of the virtual machine. Like.
Yeah, we just have to give the virtual machine a name.
Yeah.
No, which
like
version
here
is this?
shown on the virtual machine manager. It has nothing to do with the Windows
the actual name of the.
Yeah.
So this is the name that the Linux virtual machine uses to identify this, but on the network it can be a different name. But we are most likely going to use the same name.
So, and always I do customize. Then we have. Können wir noch ein paar andere Sachen machen, und zwar folgendes. For more performance, we use a special disk bus virt.io, and also for better network, also virt.io.
That means that it's going to virtualize some of the function?
Yes, it is performance.
Okay.
But you need here a special performance driver that this works. You must add to Windows. So we must add hardware, CD-ROM, and it's also ISO from this virt.io drivers.
Okay.
Choose them, and then we had a second CD-ROM Laufwerk. Good. That's all. virt.io here, virt.io on the network address.
This
and virt.io
computer
on the video.
doesn't really have a CD driver, but that uses the CD driver of the virtual machine to practically run certain things faster from a cache that behaves like a CD-ROM.
Yes. For the Windows virtual machine, is this the hardware I add, and I can add.
This is not the actual CD-ROM. This is actually a part of the resources of the computer that are made that are available in a better way. Okay.
And here's the source I used. Now, we used the installation source before in the wizard.
Okay.
And that's the Windows ISO. And I add a second CD-ROM Laufwerk with
if that file wasn't there, you can speak German and I can translate it. Okay, so now at this point you will need the ISO of the Windows, right?
Yes.
And you can put it on a thumb drive. Let's say if that ISO was on a thumb drive, how would you get that ISO from a thumb drive? If that ISO was on a thumb drive, wenn das nicht auf dem Computer wäre, wo würdest du, wenn es das auf einem Thumb Drive war?
Was ist ein Thumb Drive?
An USB stick.
Okay.
Where would you get that if it was on a flash drive?
Yeah,
if it wasn't on the computer?
In many ways, you can copy it from over network. You can also use network paths. You can take.
Now, let's say I put a sticker here. How would I access that sticker?
Okay, good.
Let's say there is a sticker here.
Yeah, you just stick it on and go here to files, and then you see it here.
Under what? It would be available.
Da kommt ein zusätzliches Ding mit dem Stick.
Okay, so you will see a stick and then you have to mount it.
It mount automatically.
Okay, so if you
can copy here.
If you put a sticker here, that will appear automatically there, and then you copy it to.
Genau. Then I kann es ja auswählen und dann
let me just go get it and let's just do it. So we know how to do that. Not to guess. Bo انگلیسیش کشت منو. سرویس. الان دارم ضبط میکنم. we put the on one of these, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
So let's put them all here. One of these two 64 gigabyte will have the ISO file. I don't know which one. Let's see. I'm putting both of them in.
Yeah.
So let's
see. Yeah.
So they just appeared, and one of them will have the scanned. That's not the.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is the ISO here.
So that is
Yes.
the ISO that just appeared there. Now, if you want to copy that, just
copy and then to the path I want. No? And normally, okay, that's a little bit complicated. I normally use the terminal. It's for me easier.
Yeah. No, well, make it the non-terminal way, because for most of people, that is probably easier. But just new folder, you can just make a new folder.
Yeah, I searched the folder at the moment because I never used this. I need the root. Where's the root? Home. Home is.
Yeah, that's a home.
No, home. Home is not root. That's my problem.
Okay, well, but it just was saying create a new.
Oh, kann ich das nicht ändern hier?
No. Well,
here. Right. Let's try this. No, I can't.
Okay, why don't you go just to home, because I just saw it.
Yeah, good. We can copy it to home. It's own. Something is wrong. So force quit. So start it new.
Okay.
We take it. This one. Say copy. And we
then,
go to home.
And then right mouse button, new folder. Does it?
Also, yeah, okay. We can also do a new folder.
Temp or whatever. Okay, and then we can just graphically just put it there. So
yeah,
now
it's like in Windows. It's not
yeah, but to access that, it's practically the root, practically /temp. That is where in Linux /temp is where that data is now. Okay, good.
When we look on the terminal, the home drive in Linux is this tilde.
Hashtag.
Tilde?
Hashtag.
No, this tilde here.
Oh,
This
okay,
one.
yeah, that is.
That's the home drive. So list, and here's
That's
our
the temp.
temp volume.
Yeah. CD temp, change directory to temp, and then ls for list. And then you have the data there. Okay.
Also
good.
ls is list. Short list, and in SUSE you can use ll, long list, and with the long list you see
more information.
Okay.
So now we have the data. Let's go back and see how we want to use that to install it. Okay.
So, okay, good. Okay, the only important thing here. Also nochmal zusammenfassen.
Let's put it together. We created a virtual machine. We called it the remote LX01 and -03.
Yes.
And then we assigned it 80 gigabyte of hard drive, 4 gigabyte of RAM, certain amount of the hardware, CPU, and then we created a virtual disk. Okay.
We changed the disk bus to VitIO because performance.
We changed that for the performance. We changed that to that, and we
also on the network network interface. And here on the network interface, you see there's the device name is a bridge device over the bridge, and so we have the virtual machine on the normal network.
Yes. Okay.
And the other, the third thing we can change to VitIO. It's just I don't know. It's so impossible, important, but we can do this. And when we now not add this CD-ROM drive, Windows don't see the hard disk, because that's a special driver needed, and that's not integrated in the Windows. And so we need this additional. Begin installation.
Now it starts installation.
And we have now bootable device. Very good. Not very good.
That ISO was not bootable. Is that what it says? That ISO that we copied, or did we copy it, or did we choose it properly?
At the moment, I'm thinking. Okay. Here's changed to this one, and this is not bootable.
Okay.
I don't know why it's happened, so I enable the boot menu, we close it, force off, because and we use the CD-ROM 2 we need here. Okay, I don't know why to. We take it to the first boot.
Okay.
Apply.
The virtual practically for the virtual computer we are creating virtual drives it can boot from. Okay.
Yeah, it's like in the BIOS.
Okay.
On a
like
normal computer.
This is practically the BIOS of the virtual machine.
So.
And here it's booting, and the rest at this point is like exactly like installing a window.
Right.
So.
No, not
quite.
No, not because he don't see the drive at the moment because we use the vitual driver, and we need first to add the vitual driver. I show you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
We choose the version. This is again a regular installation for Windows so far.
Okay. Accept licenses. So, and now you see the problem. You don't see the hard disk.
You don't see the you don't see the drive that you want to install the computer because it's not available. So we have to go load drivers, I guess.
Browse, and then here the vitual.
And we have to choose that virtual driver that we just installed for Windows 10, 64 version of it.
And this is the SUSE controller driver we need.
And that is the practically the driver that says to use that virtual driver that we installed on the Linux side. Now Windows can use it.
It's a free driver from Red Hat. Not
Okay. And it is already on the computers. Now we have that 80 gigabyte drive available.
Okay.
And now we can, from here now, the installation is a normal installation.
Right.
Is that correct?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So now at this point, you just go through the process and you configure the computer as or virtual computer.
I forgot. After installation, we have not network also because the drivers missing. So we have to start from the CD-ROM of the video. Also, again, the setup routine. Only start, and in the end, it needs a restart, and then it works all fine.
Okay, so after we install the Windows, we don't have network there. We have to install the network there. To do the network installation, can we do it on the Windows side or
on the Windows side? Yeah,
on the Windows side, we have to go there.
It's a CD-ROM on the Windows, and we.
So we just have to go to the practically to control panel. To
only directly to the CD.
Okay,
and start the setup.
Because that CD that we installed here, it will appear like a drive on the on the Windows
CD,
on the Windows Explorer. If you go there, what happened then? You just double click on that.
Double click on the MSI or setup XI. I'm not
sure.
Do
you know what the name of that file is? And that when you get there,
we can.
We can look at it on a different computer. Yeah, let's go to the other computer that you have already installed.
I deleted, but I deleted CD-ROMs after clean up. You can have a look here. I also delete here. But it takes not so long.
Yeah. Why don't you go to one of them and show where that would be? It's deleted now, but where it would be.
Or I can show, we can add it. It's no problem. I shut down the computer and we add the drive. I think it's also interesting because you can change all the environment of the virtual machine.
Okay.
The most you must shut down the machine.
Okay.
But some things also work if a machine is running. But he says.
So now this is the virtual control of the machine. Practically more or less like a BIOS for this virtual computer.
Yeah.
Okay. So now in this BIOS for this virtual computer, can you go from the start there? Let's draw it shut down.
Okay.
So you have to do it when the virtual machine is shut down.
Yes.
So we go there, double
Double
click.
click. Yeah. Also here
And
is
then
the
here,
console.
The console.
And here
gives-
is the hardware.
The hardware and the BIOS. Okay. So we go to
Add hardware and say we need a CD-ROM. It's like we do before on the other side. We say we want this. Okay. Now perhaps he's warning. No. Okay. So, and that was. We had installed a CD-ROM drive and had
all
this CD-ROM.
All the
inside,
installation, so to say, material stuff for that. Now, if we boot up this computer now, we should have what we need to install the network drive.
Yes.
Okay.
It makes updates.
Okay.
So, it's technical on the.
You can go on the To the password.
As a password. Oh, password. I don't know.
Let's use that. Yeah.
Okay, and then here, Windows Explorer.
So if you go now to this window and then that should appear like a Mac for a second. Mac. So frankly, you need to go to this PC. Just click here, and this virtual drive appears like a CD drive or a drive, where you double click and then you have these are all the drivers, correct?
Yes. And that's the only thing you must start after installation. Perhaps we can do it because now,
the
installation is finished. First start. Okay, what we also can change here, because das war jetzt, habe ich zur Überbrückung gemacht. Normalerweise sollte das nicht passieren. Ich kann das hier wieder deaktivieren, dass direkt von der Diskette, von der Festplatte startet. Und das Bootmenü braucht man eigentlich auch nicht unbedingt.
So you're telling after we install everything, we really don't need to, have that SATA CD-ROM driver because we don't really have a CD-ROM on this machine, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but we should keep that virtual disk because that can be used for other purposes.
First start, boot
for
device.
The first boot up, because even after that, you don't really need that after that either. But it doesn't hurt to keep it on.
That's what I said. There's some things you can change when the system is started, and some things not. No? This is something you can't change when the system is started. So he said, change will take effect after next shutdown.
Okay. So this is still booting our third machine.
Right.
So, but going back to the second machine, or was it the first machine you put there?
I think it was the first machine. Yeah.
Okay. Then how do I go from one machine to another?
Only double click.
Double click. Okay, so let's go to the first machine. So we are in the first machine. That is first virtual machine. Let's say if I want to install, I just double click on that VirtuoWin GT 60x64, and then it's an installation program.
You say okay, it should install.
It just install. Is it just for the network or is it for everything?
It's for all the drivers, network,
for all the
hard
drivers.
disks.
So practically, this is that install all the drivers that make this virtual machine communicate with the main Linux server.
Faster. With this, the VirtIO is faster than the normal.
Okay. So it seems that we are getting somewhere there.
Now we see the hard disk is too slow.
That hard drive is slower. But at this point, really, after if we go through the routine of the Windows program, then we go to the virtual program and start. I'm going to show it on the other virtual machine. Nope.
No.
Cancel.
It's started here.
It's already there. Here. We go there and to this drive. Is this drive going to be there right now automatically after this is installed?
Yes. Well, two CD-ROM drives you see after installation.
And then Practically, we just
wird
double click on this,
64.
and then we are done.
Right.
Okay, good.
After the installation, he said restart, and then
Done.
after
Okay,
it's done.
so then I'm going to stop this. We are going to have another version after this.